assault and batteries, but my trunk stay ever ready. Assault and battery, if you scared, you never ready.
Okay. About some potential WrestleMania 32 matches. Now, I know with this Raw that passed in Dallas, everyone was talking about what they could have done to really build up towards the event, because I guess if past years show anything, when you have a match that's like literally announced months and months before the actual event, it makes the hype for that thing just so much more better. And I think Raw in Dallas, or even Hell in a Cell, was a great opportunity for literally some sort of tease of anything to happen. You had Stone Cold, you had The Undertaker, you had Shawn Michaels. Any of these guys, you know, I think are big enough names that if you announce them or tease them to do something at WrestleMania, people would be going nuts right now. Except what they did was they have Stone Cold come out at the beginning of the show, which, don't get me wrong, I was happier than anybody just hearing that glass break and just everyone coming off their feet and that Stone Cold pop, that infamous Stone Cold pop. It's literally, no words can describe how amazing that is, and I got to witness it 2 times and 3 times live, and every single one of those times I'm grinning from ear to ear, and it's like the coolest thing to see. Your childhood hero come down to the ring, go on all 4 turnbuckles, you get the rest. So, with that being said, you could have easily had Stone Cold and Brock Lesnar. I think by now Austin is avoiding the question so much about will he be wrestling at the biggest stage, the granddaddy of them all. And I think he will. I think it's without any doubt that he'll be there and he'll be wrestling. It's just a matter of who it's going to be against. Now, I know when Paul Heyman was on Steve Austin's podcast, he hinted and teased that, hey, you know, you versus the Beast, you know, the toughest SOV versus the baddest man on the planet, whatever it was. And Austin just kind of shrugged him off. And Heyman's been poking at Austin for many months now about this happening. But there was no tease at all on the Brock podcast. And whenever someone asks him on Twitter, hey, you gonna be wrestling? He's like, oh, hell no. So stop fucking asking me. I ain't wrestling at the event. So obviously he's getting bombarded with questions. And I think it's just so obvious that he will be, that it's just like whatever. And so Stone Cold versus Brock Lesnar, I think is a match that has to happen. And then you got Sting and The Undertaker is another one. Now, as much as it would be so cool to see those two finally meet up, I would rather see Undertaker's last match against John Cena at WrestleMania 32, because the story, and I've talked about this before, the story you can tell with those two, just incredible. Cena's first match, who was the guy who came up to him first and shook his hand? It was The Undertaker. Now imagine the story that you're going to tell that, you know, the guy who came up to Cena at his very first match is going to be the guy who's going to shake his hand for Undertaker's last match. Cena shakes his hand, last match, done deal, send him off into the set. It's amazing. And that match hasn't happened before when Cena's like all, you know, hustle, loyalty, respect. So that's another one. Now you got to talk about the Royal Rumble. Dean Ambrose, I think right now is just kind of floating around doing nothing, giving him the Royal Rumble victory. And I think he's popular enough for people to actually want to be invested in him for winning the title. So I can see Dean Ambrose winning the Rumble and then going off to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. But then Roman Reigns, who will probably have every single, you know, shot at the title up until that event, he'll somehow get his way in there. Triple threat match with the Shield at WrestleMania. That's three matches. You got The Rock versus Triple H. I know they've been teasing this one, and might as well just do it, because The Rock, I'm sure, it's the biggest WrestleMania of all time. They are not going to sell out 100,000 people in a building with their current roster. You need every single guy who has 2 legs and a heartbeat to get in that ring and put on a show. So The Rock, Triple H, Undertaker, Sting, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Batista even. I don't know about that one, but that'd be that'd be pretty good to see that. Big Dave back in the ring against somebody. But those are just a few matches right now. And then you have the undercard, you know, you're going to have your Money in the Bank. You're going to probably have, like, Jericho is probably going to have a match in there. But the Money in the Bank, did they have? Yeah, they had a Money in the Bank at. No, sorry, that was an Intercontinental title ladder match. So they're gonna have a match with a whole bunch of guys, and though I'm sure they'll make it a ladder match because it's like, I think it should be a WrestleMania tradition to have a multi-man ladder match. Just makes for just an incredible, especially an opener. Like, man, gets the crowd hot, amazing. So that's it. That's what. Those are just a few matches. You know, I'm on my way home now, so I guess I'd throw out a video for you guys and let me know what you think, because everyone has their own dream matches. Literally the day after WrestleMania 31, that's when people start planning their matches for WrestleMania 32. So I just gave you a few of mine. I think they're pretty logical too. They're not too out there, but I can see definitely like 3 or 4. Well, I gave you 4 matches. I can definitely see 3 of them happening. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video.